I think Cardano is massively undervalued for a few reasons in the crypto space currently. The first one's going to be the technology that it provides. The second is going to be the chart that it has. And the third is going to be the future developments of what's coming not only this year, not only in 2025, but in 2026, 2030, and all the way future of Cardano's current ecosystem. Currently, the technology of Cardano is one of the main selling points of what it provides. And not just the technology, but the fundamentals of Cardano, the fundamental principles of what makes it a unique blockchain. These are the unique selling points of the ADA ecosystem. So what are they? The first thing that Cardano does really well is it's very decentralized. Decentralization in itself is an undervalued aspect in crypto currently, but over the years, over the decades, I think decentralization will become one of the most important selling points or important pieces of topics as Web 2 ideas or Web 2 governments or Web 2 companies start moving things on chain. On chain is going to be the new requested method for many users, for many reasons, for validity, for verification, for seamless experiences, for data storage, for all these things. And so as this happens, decentralization of systems is going to become one of the most important things. And Cardano is currently excelling in that with an MAV of, or a Nakamoto coefficient of 58, one of the highest in the crypto ecosystem currently verified. After decentralization, security is another really important aspect. With all the wallet drains, with all the hacks we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, billions of dollars lost by retail and high-end investors and companies, right? With all of that happening, it's not really the best thing in the news for crypto to be having these issues. It steers a lot of people away from using blockchain technology or from experimenting in crypto. But what Cardano has done to enforce security, I think is very important and very undervalued again. Decentralization is undervalued. Security is undervalued. People feel more secure than they actually are. So how does Cardano combat this? Well, it uses Haskell, or it uses its own version of Haskell called Plutus, which basically allows code to be verified better before being implemented. Better for bugs, more seamless, more ability to kind of understand what the code's going to do on the output so you can have better representation and better understanding of the issues with code. So we have Plutus, which is Haskell. We also have signed data transactions, which means it's part of the UTXO model actually. Basically, whenever someone goes to steal funds or whenever you do a transaction, you have to sign it with your spending password. So it's very, very hard for people to spend money out of your wallet, whereas on other chains, it's very easy to drain a wallet. Two more great technological things Cardano has done is with decentralization, it's also brought in this new governance era. We're really yet to see how governance is going to work in Cardano, but I'm very excited for 2025. And we already have some government votes going out about like certain proposals, changing K parameter or this or that. Other things are being voted on. And so if you want to get involved with Cardano governance, we're going to make some videos on how you can, but the voting has already happened. That's a very big thing, I think, because people are going to want to use their resources or time or money to vote, especially in a decentralized ecosystem. Lastly, Cardano has already done some major things in its scalability. I know everyone says Cardano is slow, Cardano is not being used and stuff like that. But it's fast enough for what it needs to be done. While it's doing that, it's also preparing for 2025 with input endorsers, 2026 with input endorsers, parallel processing. And in order to do that, it's done other things like transaction pipelining. So upgrading the pipelines of the blockchain and how blocks are routed and approved and verified. We've also had iterations of Plutus come out, Plutus V1, Plutus V2, and I think right now Plutus V3 is being worked on if it's not out already. And then lastly, Hydra is available and active and it's deployable and it's usable. And Hydra has been said to be the thing that's going to scale Cardano to 1 million transactions per second. We're going to make another video on can Cardano actually get to 1 million transactions per second, but Hydra is a very important aspect of Cardano's scalability features. Think of it as like a ZK rollup solution for single situations, whether you're running a D app, whether you're running a game, whether you're trading or transacting, to someone else over a very long period of time. There are certain use cases where Hydra can be used, not every use case, but it is a viable scaling solution. So Cardano's technology over the last couple of years has done very well at going from 2021, it was $3 and it had no smart contracts, to now 2024 it's 35 cents and it has pipelining, it's scalable, it's secure, it's got smart contracts, got a thriving DApp ecosystem. It is a actual government ecosystem. It's one of the most decentralized blockchains out there, and it's very accessible for all of the retail users. So the technology aspect to me seems highly, highly underrated. And like Bitcoin is a certain crypto project that is doing very well for itself. It's a very big store of value, but I think it would be crazy to think that the technology stops at Bitcoin or stops at Ethereum. Cardano, Algorand, even Solana, ICP, all of these technologies are bringing massive iterations of what the blockchain crypto space can be. And I think each one of those should have merit and should have viable understanding and resources allocated to them. These are all going to be the future innovation, and the buck probably won't stop with Bitcoin and Ethereum. The second big reason I think Cardano is massively undervalued is its current price. So last cycle, Cardano was, pennies on the dollar. It was worth pennies. Today, it's worth 30 cents. Many people are writing Cardano off because it's not a dollar or $2 right now, and it hasn't pumped like Solana. That's one of the big things I hear is it's not pumped like Solana or it's not pumped like SWI. But I want to raise a different style of argument. Bitcoin always does pretty well and outperforms a lot of altcoins. Ethereum has become more of a blue chip, and it's really right there with Bitcoin, although it hasn't performed as well as Bitcoin. Bitcoin's done a couple X's in return. Ethereum was around $1,000 or $800 at its lowest, and today it's like $2,500. So it's done great returns, but not as much as Bitcoin has, going from $15,000 to $70,000. When we roll into even deeper altcoins, every cycle there's going to be altcoins that outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are like these first two movers. They've both done really well for themselves, but the rest of the crypto market is kind of lagging behind. With that lag behind, there's always these couple assets that do very, very well. We've seen some meme coins pop up that have done really well. We've seen Solana do very well, going from $5 to $150, right, over the 2021 bear market to now. We've seen SWI come up as a big contender in the crypto ecosystem. And many people are just wondering, when is Cardano going to pop off? If it's really this great decentralized blockchain, if it's really doing these things, when is it going to have its turn for price appreciation? I think this narrative comes from a couple things. It comes from people who don't really believe in Cardano, so they kind of say, well, our blockchain is doing better price-wise anyways. It comes from people who are in Cardano who are a little frustrated. They're a little frustrated with price. They're a little frustrated, with their gains, with their bags, with all these things. And then it comes from Cardano people who are more convicted and not really worried about price, but want to raise the reasons, kind of like me, who want to raise the idea of, well, price is lagging behind, but it's okay. It's still kind of where it was last cycle. Like Cardano really didn't start gaining in price until December of 2020, and then like January 2021 and February 2021. That's where the massive accumulation of price started happening. And so this time in the cycle, Cardano is really still kind of just doing the same thing. And we're going to have to see how monetary policy affects how crypto does and how Bitcoin gains over the back half of 2024. But the big argument for me is, well, current price is not the only thing I look at when investing in something. So I think Cardano's undervalued because of the tech, and I think the current price is undervalued given what that tech offers and given what the rest of the crypto market has done. I'm really proud of investors who have held Solana and C and Sway and all the other ones that have pumped massively. Making gains is great for them. But if you're sitting here thinking Cardano is not performing on price, and you're thinking about converting your ADA to Sol or ADA to SWI, do you think that that's the best option to make the most return on your money? Obviously, you thought Cardano was a good investment at one point. What makes you think it's not a good investment at this point? Is it just price? Because if it's just price, I would highly suggest not just swapping your ADA for Sol, when Sol arguably could make less returns than ADA from this point out. Solana's had a great run. SWI's had a great run. Meme coins have had a great run. Why would you trade from the token that hasn't had a great run yet, if you believe in the token, to another token that is already pumped? For that reason, I do think Cardano is undervalued, and I think with its more kind of like academic approach or something, it's not as exposed to massive volatility or massive like price explosion randomly on a random day in a random week. But I do think Cardano will continue to print returns throughout the cycle as Bitcoin pushes towards 100,000, and then money moves to altcoins and monetary policy gets looser, and the global liquidity increases. Cardano has a unique technological principle-based asset in itself that really no other project in crypto kind of does. There might be a few others, but compared to the 20 or 30,000 other crypto projects, Cardano is very unique, and I think because of that, price will appreciate in due time. So it's more about just understanding, why are you in Cardano? Why do you want to hold on to price, and how long do you wait? I think there's a point where we decide, okay, Cardano's not printing returns. It's not this year though, it's sometime next year, and then we can just take our losses and move on if price appreciation doesn't happen. But for me, price currently is undervalued. I think it's holding good Fibonacci levels. And I think compared to last cycle, it's doing really the same thing and it's holding a good position. It's not like it's continuing to drop to 20 cents or 10 cents or 15 cents or 5 cents, right? Cardano's still around that 35, 40 cent area, waiting for the next leg up. The last big thing that I think Cardano's doing that is making it really undervalued right now is the idea of future developments. So when we're investing in things, we obviously look at what the project current does, but a lot of what we're looking at also is what's going to come in the future. Like people are buying NVIDIA calls right now because they think, wow, AI is going to take over. Wow, chips are going to be so needed, right? Based on like the Metcalfe's law of chips, right? Or they're saying like Tesla is building robots. The future of that's going to be incredible. So when we're investing in things, we don't just invest in current action stuff, but we really invest on future appreciation or future expectations. And so with Cardano, I think the expectation of the future is very, very bright. Three things that come to mind are Paris, Laos, the future development of Hydra, and side chains. And so what all four of these things do, or three of them do, is they're scaling Cardano to its maximum capacity and then using its maximum capacity to actually scale it further via kind of like L2 situations. So I think the first one is Paris and Laos. This is the input endorsers parallel processing version of Cardano that's currently being worked on. We just finished governance, now we're moving into scalability. And so Paris and Laos basically are saying, Cardano produces a block every 20 seconds, and in between those 20 seconds, it doesn't really do anything. The blockchain just kind of halts. How do we fit blocks and transactions into those 20 seconds? So we are using the chain fully, and we are packing more blocks into one transaction and just really scaling this thing 20 times bigger than it currently is. But with Laos and Paris, Cardano can have almost instant finality, and it can scale 20 times than it currently is, maybe to around 1,500 blocks or 1,500 transactions per second. And so that would be very incredible. That would be a very large improvement on what it does currently. And that's about the maximum that the blockchain can get realistically. After that, we also have Hydra, which is our L2 style scaling solution that can basically scale any DApp or any situation to an infinite number of transactions as you open more Hydra heads. And then the third thing is going to be those side chains like Midnight, a privacy-based chain, or we currently just had Bitcoin OS, which is like a bridge to Cardano to use Bitcoin assets on Cardano. So this idea of side chains and growing the ecosystem is very, very interesting. I think that there could be situations where we open like a meme coin side chain and just crank the scalability as high as possible. But this future idea of what Cardano is moving into with its scalability era, with its governance era, is very exciting to me. I don't see a lot of other blockchains that I see doing this with the technicals and with the fundamentals and with the principles, and then adding these things on top that really excite me like Cardano does. So these are the three reasons why I really am excited for Cardano this year, 2024, 2025, 2026, and why I think we could see some very big things coming for it. And I think price just appreciates in due time. In 2025, price is just going to appreciate, and then everyone's going to come back and be like, wow, Cardano is such a good investment, right? I guarantee you that's what happens, and just right now the hype is not there, the train is not there, and then eventually it will come, and price will appreciate, and people will be like, wow, I knew this was a great investment all the time, okay? So that's exactly how it's going to go in my opinion. This is why I think Cardano is undervalued. Maybe let me know in the comments if you agree or not. Other than that, hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.